The Leap Foundation proudly presents the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman. Dr. Bill is a TV host, New York Times best-selling author, two-time Guinness World Book record holder, fitness guru, celebrity cosmetic dentist, and philanthropist who founded the Leap Foundation. Here's Dr. Bill.
Hey, Dr. Bill here. I'm ready to do another exciting Meet the Mentor. There's so much going on right now. We're just getting ready to launch Poof. If you haven't seen our new whitening product, P-O-O-O-O-F, 3 O's, you can get it on Amazon. It's a new whitening strip that actually melts in your mouth. And the cool thing is, not only does it make your teeth white, but proceeds go to Leap, which is why we're doing this whole thing. And my other great product that I'm super duper excited about are Kickballs, which is a caffeinated gumball. You can only get it on our website now, but in the next 3 months, we will be in 250,000 retail outlets. So we're super excited about Kickballs. And we're uber duper excited about Leap this year. We have such a great lineup. I'm talking to Amy Adams. I'm talking to John Legend. I'm talking to Chrissy Teigen. I'm talking to like 5 or 6 amazing business leaders who are all trying to clear their schedule and show up for you guys. Leap will be July 16th to the 23rd at UCLA. We are so excited for this program. If you have not been to Leap yet, please go on our website, www.leapfoundation.com. Check it out. Look what we've done. This will be our 16th year, Sweet 16. And one of the things about Leap that really hits home every year is called a mentor workshop, where we get about 100 different mentors from all walks of life that come to the program and share their expertise and their knowledge with you students. And this program has been so successful in finding great mentors that we decided, why should we just wait a year to do this? So now every week we're filming 2 or 3 new Meet the Mentors so that you guys can meet a lot of different, very successful people from all walks of life throughout the year and not have to wait till it all comes to Leap Week. So today I'd love to introduce you to Krisstina Weiss. She is a real estate mogul, millionaire coach, and creator of several multi-million-dollar businesses, including Good Life Luxury, The Paperless Agent, and most recently, Wealthy. And I'll have her explain to you what all those are, because I don't know. She's also an international speaker and an award-winning author of the Amazon bestseller, Falling for Money. It's a romance novel for your bank account. Named one of the most 100 influential real estate leaders in the country. She's been featured in USA Today as well as by Apple, Contractually, and Evernote for her creative leadership with emerging technologies. Krisstina, welcome. And she's living where my second home is, right in Park City. And you're having a stormy day, I hear.
We are. Lots of snow. It's coming down.
So where did you grow up?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's part of the story. I grew up in a teeny tiny town in the middle of Arizona called Camp Verde. I mean, it's barely on a map. So I grew up with a very poor education. I grew up, on starting like in a trailer home, like very dire conditions. And there might have been 2,000 people in the whole town. So that's where the story began.
So, well, let's hear the story. So you grew up in a trailer park, and then what happened?
Well, I think, when we're talking about, how we get from where we started to where we are, and looking at the story of, what makes maybe some people different. And I think that's where it started, was just one of it just started with desire, just a real passion and desire that I think is really important. That desire fuels us to want to create something different or want to be different or want to create a different situation. So for me, it just started with the desire to look around and think that there's got to be more to life than this. I want out of this. This is not where I'm destined to be.
I want to ask you something. When you were a little kid, did you just know that you were different? Like, did you? Because I'll tell you something. I always tell this on podcasts. I remember when I was like 5 years old and I started kindergarten, I came home from school one day, the first day of school, and my mom and dad said, honey, how was school? I said, it was okay, but the kids in my class are so immature. Like, I was 5. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of 5-year-old ever says something like that? Like, I knew I was a weird kid. Like, did you kind of feel like you were in the wrong place?
You don't realize that until much later in life, but looking back, like you didn't fit in. I remember when that Apple commercial, the Macintosh, commercial first came out and said, for the misfits. And I'm like, oh, they're talking to me. Like,
right.
Group of people like me that feel like they never fit in and tried to, and all the things. And yeah, just from a young age was just doing things differently, and you thought differently and kind of acted differently while trying to fit in at the same time. But yeah, just from the very beginning, that
I totally feel you. It was a weird thing. Like, and the other thing too is like, I never just like accepted stuff. I always had to like, I don't know if you were this way too, but like, what do you mean? Like, how does that work? Like, I drove people crazy.
Yeah, well, and it was, then there's the other side of the personality too, that I think there's some resiliency or something there that could really handle going a different way, or could deal with, I wouldn't say necessarily criticism, but everybody else is going left, and just having that tenacity or that resiliency, right, or courage or something to like, I'm just not going that way. Like, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to go this other way. And it came with consequence, but whatever that's built in also, it's like, nope, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to do it my way. And just having that desire, like, maybe I'll fail. Maybe this is the wrong way, but I'm going to do it my way.
No, I totally feel that. It's so weird. I just had my 40-year reunion from dental school. I've been practicing 40 years. So I pulled out my dental school like yearbook, and they name, they give those silly awards like, best body and best. I was like most likely to succeed. And I thought, And then I looked in my high school yearbook, most likely to succeed. Junior high, grammar school. Like, I was 6, 7, 8 years old. I don't know. Like, I think that always going left when people are going right, maybe people figured I would be onto something. I don't know. But anyhow, so you grew up in this little tiny trailer park, and where'd you go to college, or what happened after that?
Yeah, well, I think that's a big part of the takeaway too for, young adults listening is knowing that really, I think the big success is going left when everybody's going right. And it's there's a huge pull to want to go with everybody else. And it's okay to go against the grain. It's okay to do what others aren't doing, and to follow that courage to really go after those beliefs. But you have to go against that herd mentality in so many cases for that to be the case. And success lies in being different. It's on the other side of the herd mentality.
Well, you know why people don't do that? The biggest reason, they're afraid of failure. And what I always tell students at LEAP is I never fail. Because if I go left and it doesn't work out, I don't look at that as failure. I look at that as practice. And then I'll go even a little bit further left. And if that doesn't work out, that's more practice. And then I'll practice and practice and practice until it works.
Absolutely. And it's almost to seek failure as a challenge. Like, where is the challenge? Like,
totally.
To seek the challenge, to push yourself to be, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. But this did. And that's part of that entrepreneurship. That's part of that success formula, I think, is you just keep the passion and desire is there to figure it out. And that it's going to take how many tries before, you decode it. But again, I think it's having the courage to do things differently, to be different, while at the same time seeking failure, seeking that next challenge.
Practice, not failure.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So give us the roadmap. So from this little trailer park, where'd you go and what happened?
Well, I made my way to college, just again, that desire to get out, and I got a great college degree. And what's interesting, just the college degree was great, really to prove to myself as being the first one that in my family to ever consider college, let alone go to college. Like it wasn't in the cards. So that was such a huge thing. But then again, like college was such a small part of my success ultimately, because college for me was just a challenge, like the growing up experience, like to learn, like you have to study and you have to do these things. But even in college is more about relationship development. It is more about really.
You're right. Wait, I'm sorry I have to interrupt. I'm so passionate about this because you know what? I just went to this entrepreneurship program last night for high school and college kids. And there's all these kids are like, I don't need to go to college. I'm not, you can be successful without going to college, but you just hit the nail on the head. College isn't only about the courses you take. It's about the relationships that you make. And come on, you grow up. I mean, 17-year-old kids are stupid. They just are. They don't know life at all. And that 4 years that you're in college gives you an opportunity to mature and grow and learn how to be in relationships. I mean, I took every biology, physics, like everything I needed for dental school. You know what was the most valuable thing I learned in college?
What?
My cheerleading squad wanted to go to the Notre Dame game, and UCLA didn't have money. We made little buttons and sold those stupid little buttons. We raised $40,000 so that we could send our squad to a basketball game. And that was the most valuable lesson I learned in college, was how to make money.
Absolutely. And just the creativity and the relationships and you have to problem solve it. If you really are looking, it's a growing up experience. Like, wow, life has a lot of different concerns and you have to, there's the academic part. You need to show up to class, you need to get there on time. The good grades aren't necessarily about the A, but it's about understanding that, that they're in life, there are consequences. You have to show up to work. You have to do the work. There's the reward of that. And so there's so much of this growing up relationship and relationships that are created during that experience. And that's what to take with us.
You're 100% right. So you graduated college. What was the first business?
So what I first did out of business is, again, I was very motivated to make money. And so I got 2 degrees, accounting and finance, because I thought, oh, those are money degrees. And so I'm going to be good at this thing called money. And it didn't work out that way right off the bat. But I got into a career early on, which was real estate. And so I was able to use a lot of the finance background. I studied some real estate in college as well, and some accounting background, a little bit, but not much. But I got into real estate. And what I learned really through real estate was just potential, that was a great career when I was, I've had many careers in my life now, like you start out as one thing and now you're a business owner and entrepreneur and you're selling products across the world. But it was just, what I learned is that, there's so many skills I need to develop to be successful. And the great thing about real estate is there's really no limit. Like you are self-employed, you are 100% kind of on your own. And to succeed at a high level, you have to work hard. But I just realized there are these, I accidentally kind of got into the career. But one thing that looking back is that one thing I developed early on was the skill of sales. And sales is a real skill. And if no matter what you're doing, what you're doing as part of your career, I think sales as a skill is one of the things that is one of the most valuable things that we can learn. But it's a skill, meaning we don't learn sales in college, right? We might learn accounting in college, but if you're great at sales and accounting, it opens a whole different level of opportunity. So that's the first 100%. Thing I like to say. It's just, I studied sales and I embodied the knowledge and I wanted to be great at sales. So that's a takeaway looking back is, and today, every day I'm selling as a business owner of the different businesses.
What do you think was your secret sauce? Like, what do you think made you succeed in sales where others didn't?
A couple different things. One, you have to get over that fear of failure, like we talked about, because you're confronting all the time. And it's less about the fear of failure, more about the fear of objection. So like being told no. And I would get into the office every morning before people woke up and I would start calling. I'd say, Hi, Dr. Bill. My name is Krisstina Wise, and I'm in real estate. Have you thought of buying or selling your home now or in the near future? And that's all I would do is have a script and call and call and call. But I'd be told no and get hung up on 100 times for one yes. But those yeses added up. But just being able to confront being told no, and not connecting that to my worthiness as a person created more resiliency. But it's just getting over against some of those fears, but connected, like, I'm going to succeed. I want the money. I want the success. I want the trophies, So I think that's one of the things is just that tenacity and getting over, again, that fear that's so embodied. We want to fit in. We don't want to be told no.
You know what else I think? And I teach this at Leap, and you have it. It radiates from you. Confidence. Confidence is currency. I had a patient come in yesterday who has had his teeth redone 4 times. And he was literally in my chair bawling. And I looked in his mouth. I said, I can do this. And he said, well, I thought you were going to say you can't. I said, no, I can't. I can do this. And I've been doing this for 40 years. And then I showed him pictures of 6 or 7 other people who had the exact same thing and the results. I said, if I didn't think I could do this, I would say I can't, but I know I can do this. And I think when you approach things, and I can tell you're a really confident person, when you want to sell anything, if you don't have confidence, no sale.
Confidence is absolutely, and confidence comes over time for sure. Like, I can't say, but you can exude confidence, but it's confidence comes with the proof. Like, I'm confident because I've got all the proof now that, I know
Right.
what I can do and what I can't do. Earlier on in my career, though, I'd say I don't know if I had all that confidence yet, but I had that belief in self. I had this belief that if others can do it, I can do it. If others have succeeded at this before me, those I don't think many have as many talents as I do, I can absolutely do this. So again, and that comes with that practice piece, is like, just keep going and get over that fear of failure. And then over time, then all those, I got better and better and better. I honed those skills, and then more confidence was coming as I developed more. But yeah, part of that beginning piece is just the belief in self. And the other part of confidence would come from the skill development. Like, I studied sales. Like, I just didn't get in there and kind of half-ass and try to get lucky. There's a process to sales. I went to like a sales school, so to speak, or, to really learn this.
Where did you find that? Where can, like, if a student's watching this and they say, I want to study sales, like, where did you go to learn that?
In real estate, it's pretty easy. There's all sales, there's sales programs anywhere, but I could point people in 5 different companies that I know that sell sales, that teach people how to develop sales. But at the end of the day, I just say the skill of sales is really crucial to success. And Dr. Bill, you're great at sales. Like, you're the first thing on when we got on is you're speaking and talking and selling, your new products that you're bringing to the world. So again, but a lot of people would be afraid to do that. They don't have that confidence. They don't have that sales ability to always be selling. And that's something we've learned is always be selling. And you can be selling to your boss. You can be selling to your customers. You can be selling, like, again, it's a skill that never goes away, that you will always use. And it's one of the most important.
I agree. No matter what you do, you need to learn sales. So you went into real estate, you kind of worked on mastering this whole big sales. And, you were named like one of the top 100 most influential leaders in real estate. How did that all happen?
Yeah, well, just lots of sales for sure. But then beyond that, then I'd say another piece of success is building an identity. So, when we're younger, it's like to really think like, who am I and how do I want to be known? And I wanted to be known as a leader in real estate. I wanted to be known as a leader, a mentor, somebody that mattered, somebody that had something important to say. So again, that took time, but it's working to really build that identity. Like, who are you and how do you want to be recognized? And you can do you can almost have many different careers or have different jobs, if you will, but still have an identity of somebody that people want to follow, that people want to know. So I'd say that's another piece, is to really speak and think about what is the identity that I want to create for myself.
Yeah. And, I think one of the things that really helps, and I think that that's super duper important, is what is it that's going to move the needle and get people to respect you and know about you in a way that's different from other people? In my industry, I wrote a book, and, after coming off of Extreme Makeover, I was approached by a company that said, I'd like for you to write a book on cosmetic dentistry. And I said, I have zero interest in writing a book. I want to write a New York Times bestseller. And so I did some research and I found a company that helps you become a New York Times bestseller. And I did everything he told me I needed to do to become a New York Times bestseller. Why? Because writing a book, big deal. Writing a New York Times bestseller, you get to be on Rosie and Ellen and the Tonight Show. Like my agent could book me on all these things. How many dentists have written New York Times bestsellers? One.
That's awesome.
How many books are there on dentistry on the New York Times bestselling list? One, right? So I think that that's a really important thing, is differentiating yourself so that when people are thinking like, who should I buy from? Oh, I'm going to buy from Krisstina, right? Because she's done this and this and that, right?
Yeah, and you built this identity, and that's kind of another key takeaway. There are models everywhere. You didn't have to go figure out on your own how to become a New York Times bestseller. If you say, hey, I want to create this identity, I want to set myself apart in the dentistry industry. I want to be known as XYZ. I want to be known as the dentist nationwide, the number one dentist. What's the best way to do that? Oh, and kind of a hack to that is become this New York Times bestseller. Great. How do I do that? But it's very thoughtful and strategic. You knew what you wanted, you knew the identity you wanted to create, and then you found out the model and the method for doing so. And
you're 100% right. And one of the things that we tell students at LEAP, the most powerful word in the English language, 3 letters, A-S-K, ask. And especially when you're a young student, people will help you. They don't feel threatened by you. If me, a 64-year-old dentist, goes to another 64-year-old dentist, hey, will you help me build my practice? They'd be like, yeah, no. But me, a 17-year-old student saying, hey, I'd love to be a dentist like you. Will you help me? Who's going to say no?
Yeah, and that's another point, is that exactly that especially when you're younger, it's about, something I like to say is the best leaders are the best followers. So ultimately, success is about leadership, because you lead, other people follow, people look up to you because, you have that identity, you have trustworthiness, you've built that. To get there, we need to follow. So, standing on the shoulders of giants, like we just talked about, there are models for that, but it's to look at who can you help and learn from. Like sometimes we're just trying to, get the highest compensation possible. But sometimes it's like, hey, can I intern with you, Dr. Bill, for 6 months, and I'll clean your toilets if I need to. I just want to be upfront, because I can learn more in a year just mentoring from you and watching you and hearing you and seeing what you see and what you do every single day. I would pay for that, right? So if I could do that, and then you're being a help of the person that you might want to mentor. So think about, how can I be of value? How can I listen and learn and follow and offer help to those that have done what I want to do? That's the shortcut.
Can I tell you something? You are 1,000% right. There was a young man I met when he was in his early 20s who did just that. He came in, he wanted to be a dentist. He got rejected from dental school twice. He stayed in my office for a full year, just he wouldn't let me pay him. He just wanted to be there. He also helped me tremendously because he converted all of my slides to PowerPoint. This was at the time when, I used to travel with 9 carousels of slides when I'm lecturing. And he and I became the best friends. And he finally got into dental school. We called the dean of admissions. They said, you need to do X, Y, and Z, which he did. He got in. Today, he is one of the most successful dentists in the world. He owns 40 dental practices in the Texas area that treat low-income family. It's 100% paid for by the government. He's doing great work for these kids. And he literally sponsors 60 kids to come to LEAP every year, kind of as his payback for all the help that I gave him in his life. So, my mantra for life is learn so you can earn and then return. And I love to see when these things come full circle.
Yeah, and it is. And that's kind of the fellowship piece. And then I was going to say kind of the final piece to the puzzle that all of us can do this. This isn't talent. This doesn't mean that you're born with the highest IQ. We can all learn this way and do these things, and we can all be successful. And that's to always be learning, like always have a curiosity. There's always more to learn. There's always more to get better at. And, sometimes we think we know it all, or sometimes we think this is all there is to learn. But I just like to stay in a mood of curiosity, of learning and offering value. And it's amazing just what opportunities continue to show up.
So important. So you had this thriving, successful real estate business, and then you started all these other companies. Why don't we just name off a few of them and what they do?
Well, I left real estate sales, and, for me, it's just like, what's next? And so it's just, you get to kind of the top of something. It's like, all right, been there, done that. What's the next level of accomplishment? So from there, I went on to just, become more of an entrepreneur and business owner, and started building big companies and, but that was the next level of challenge. Is just because I was good at sales as an independent person didn't mean I was great at business. So then I just had to start over. It's like, all right, what do business owners know that I don't know? And who can I mentor under? And who can I learn from? And where do I go to learn the fundamental skills of being an entrepreneur and business owner? It's obviously not obvious and it's not easy. So it's just going through all the same things, but then it just turned into one business, and that turns into the next business. And, and then to, like you said, to learn, to earn, what's the last one?
Return.
Thank you. To return, now it's like just getting to a certain age and stage in life where it's like, hey, I've built the businesses, I've built the success, I've built the, kind of the financial empire. And that's what's great about, for the young, for young adults, when you find those like Dr. Bill, maybe myself, but we're at the age and stage where we're not done yet. We're far from done, but we're at we don't have to grow and build so much more. Now it's more about returning. So now that's what my business is today, is to really teach and to share the wisdom of being successful and how to make money and how to grow wealth to those that, again, just want to learn how to be successful and build wealth in the process.
That's awesome. If students want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, the best way to, that's always a great question. The best way to reach me is to follow my podcast, which is Wealthy Wealthy, for all the podcast listeners. So I'm sure you'll put that in the show notes. And then just, you can follow me online. Just Google my name, Krisstina Wise, and there's 10,000 ways to reach me.
But it's spelled differently. It's Krisstina.
Yes.
Yes, Wise, WISE. And closing question, what's next?
What's next? Oh, well, what's next today is probably to get up on the mountain to do some skiing. And that's just the final piece too, is to, in all of this, is to remember and, growing a business, growing careers, becoming successful, is just to keep the priorities of what it's all about. And all of the money and all of the success is really to serve the purpose of living a good life. We want a whole complete life that has great relationships, a lot of love, a lot of laughter, and a good amount of fun. and just to make sure that we're always keeping what's most important front and center.
Awesome. What a great and powerful message. Thank you so much. That was so much fun. And you'll have to text me your phone number. We'll ski together.
I'd love that.
All right. Hey, Dr. Bill, over and out.
To learn more about the Leap Foundation, go to leapfoundation.com or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Leap Foundation or on Instagram at Leap Foundation. Listen to the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.